Jacqui Scougall made such an impression on her season 1 appearance that we've asked her to come back to the Girl from Our Couch for a second time. Jacqui served in the Defence Force for many years. She's coming back to talk to us about her business, Jacqui B, and we're so grateful to have her grace our show one more time. Please welcome back to the spotlight, Jacqui Scougall.
Hello, Jacqui.
How are you? Oh, so great to have you back.
Thank you to have me back. It's very exciting.
You need to fill us in on what's happened. If you haven't seen Jacqui, she was on season 1. Definitely go back and watch the show. But what's been happening since you were here last time?
I may have been featured in just a little magazine that's floating around the set somewhere, so Feminescence, but also world record. So we did the Extreme Excellence World Record for female entrepreneurs with Stacey Sargentson. So that was very exciting because you don't realise how many female entrepreneurs there are in the world that don't get a voice. So, yeah, that was extremely exciting. So now I can say I'm a world record holder.
Oh, my gosh. Give her a round of applause. That's amazing. Wow, well done. Now, you gave us last time an overview of your journey from Defence Force to business advisor and women's personal development coach. Take us through how you help businesses and as a transformational strategist as well, which is quite unique.
I think so my background is obviously logistics in the Air Force, and a lot of it was to do with contracts, commercial management, which is very black and white. But the essence of that is relationships, because it's about commitment between one person and the other, not dissimilar to a marriage or a relationship. So what I tend to do with businesses, and because it's also very masculine and that masculine sort of mainstream leadership style, whereas I think it takes businesses to now look at it from more of a feminine leadership point of view and to really have people heard and to level up and expand that sort of what actually is business and how can we develop it a little bit further.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love that. And how do you think that the remote situation with Zoom, the whole Zoom culture, I don't know about anyone else, but we're a little bit Zoom fatigued, but how do you think that's affected the way that we build relationships with clients and also colleagues?
I think it's actually... It's horses for courses. In some cases, Zoom worked perfectly.
Yes,
was very cost efficient, time and probably
and was cost efficient.
Yeah. And it was also time efficient for that commute. But what I've tended to find is that those that had the loudest voice on Zoom or were the ones that were seen. And so a lot of people started to feel unheard or unappreciated. And if you're on Zoom and you can see, like, if you've got a million sort of, well, not a million, but a lot of faces, it's hard to be able to read some of the language and those. It's more those.
So you don't really know how someone's feeling.
No.
Yes.
And they feel a bit disconnected. I mean, it's great for having top looking great and
pajamas
very
at the bottom.
comfortable, but yeah, I think that disconnection because some people just felt unheard.
Yes, absolutely. And there can be sometimes that misunderstanding. It's even when I text my children, I get in trouble if I don't use emojis. Like, I'm not in the emoji era. Anyone else the same? It's like, Mum, are you angry with me? I'm like, why? Because you didn't use any emojis. I'm like, oh, God. So I can imagine from a Zoom perspective, because you can't see the full person and their energy and you've got this tiny little square screen, it may have affected some work relationships. Did you find that as well?
It did. And then it also then had a transition back to the workplace. So when teams were coming back, it was that, I want to be in, I don't want to be in.
Right.
I want to be on Zoom, I don't want to be on Zoom.
Yes.
And then you can always sense it when someone switches their camera off. That's when you sort of sense something's going on in the background and they've disconnected.
Withdrawn. Yeah. What are some of the biggest breakthroughs that you've experienced as a business owner?
Never to count your chickens. I think I've gone to having sort of contracts in place that were multi-million dollars to suddenly have them with funding issues suddenly disappear and then going, okay, that was my 6-12 months planned out, now what? And I think it's sort of that resilience when your bank balance goes down and going, well, if I build it once, I can do it again, and just to back yourself.
Yes. Yeah, great ideas. And, it is hard that when we're in a world at the moment that is quite unpredictable, there's so many things going on. And I guess we never actually controlled the world. But for some reason, people went into this pandemic shock of, I can't. And it's like, actually, you never could. So what were you thinking? So it really does come back to us truly living in the moment and enjoying this moment right here as we sit. You know, 3 fabulous women doing great things. I had to include myself in that.
Of course.
You know, but that's all we can control. It's all we ever could control, and it's making this memory matter. And it leads me to asking you about Jacqui B, your business, because I have had the honour of knowing this woman for many years and watched her grow. But I'd love you to take us through a little bit more about your journey with Jacqui B.
It was being in a defence environment, very masculine. I started to lose myself and like, oh, I'm getting emotional. Like, you know.
We have tissues this time.
I know, I nearly used them last time. When my aha moment was when my mum passed away in 2012. And that's when I realised that I wasn't living on purpose, living a life with regret as opposed to no regrets. So I changed that about no regrets and being able to facilitate that for others, to give them that reminder that tomorrow's not guaranteed. And if you start getting caught up in someone else's sort of, I guess, vision of what you're meant to be as opposed to your own, that's really what gets people unstuck. And then at the end of the life, they look back and go, should have, could have, didn't. And I think that's part of it now, is that your best years are ahead of you. Don't think that your best years are behind you. So you can always keep reinvigorating yourself.
Yes.
And that's what I love about Jacqui B. It's to sort of take that suitcase out from under someone's bed and go dust it off and go, here's all your dreams, get them out and let's start working through them.
That's great. Tick them off as we go. Who have been some of your greatest mentors and teachers in your life?
I'd say up until my 40s, it was probably my family. Because I saw them from different angles. So my dad, who passed away when I was 18, he was the accountant. He'd been in World War II. Met Mum at a blind date in Luna Park in Sydney and migrated to Australia and did that. And sort of I learnt the resilience from him. Then I learnt the resilience from Mum when Dad passed away, because that was the same time when I joined the Air Force. And they were always givers. So, Dad was an entrepreneur, so he had great dreams. He set up football clubs. He set up Central Coast Masonic Club. So he always had a big vision that sort of kept me thinking big. And Mum was just that she was just the essence of a lady and being there for the family. And I think they were the 2 role models that probably up until my 40s. And then when they sort of passed away, that's when I looked at sort of mentors and business coaches to fill in the gaps, because you can't, it's like a village raises children.
Yes.
You can't do it all on your own. And I think that's the thing, as women, we tend to go, well, we're Wonder Women and we can do it all on our own. And once we realise need help, that's when that magic even blossoms further.
And it's so okay, isn't it, to ask for help?
Absolutely.
And necessary.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Give her a round of applause. She was amazing. Well done.
Are you loving the Girlfriend Hour so far? We hope you've been inspired by the wonderful women you've seen sharing their stories. Do you have an inspiring story of your own to share? We're looking for magic just like yours. Be featured in Feminescence magazine and start your own exciting media journey. Join many other fabulous women who've been profiled in Feminescence magazine. Unlock access to an international audience, propel your career and expand your network. Make today the day you back yourself. What are you waiting for? Visit feminescence.com.au to find out more.